everybody, and welcome to the Yarn Thing podcast with Marly Bird. I am your host, Marly Bird. You can catch the Yarn Thing podcast live almost every Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock Mountain Time. That's 12 o'clock on the East Coast, 9 o'clock on the West Coast, and 11 o'clock anywhere else in the world. If you would like to join us live, please Google what time 10 o'clock Mountain Time is for you and come and join the fun. Better yet, this is the easiest thing you can do. Go to the Marly Bird YouTube channel, click subscribe, click the notification bell, and make sure you select all. And then in your settings, make sure that you are allowing YouTube to contact you when you need to be notified. And you will be notified whenever I go live with a video or release a new video. It's the best way for you to know up to date when a video is getting released. Not to mention, it helps support your favorite podcaster. So do that if you don't mind. We have lovely sponsors here on the podcast. So we're going to say thank you to Stitches.events, Erin Lane Bags, Creative Bug, and Yarnspirations.com, home of Red Heart Yarns, and Chic Sheep by Marly Bird. So those are our lovely sponsors. If you want to learn more about them, please visit marlybird.com, click the podcast menu, drop down, and you'll see where it has a list for sponsors. You can go there and get a direct link to each one of them. Now, I know a lot of you do not do that. You're like, no, I heard the name, I'm good. Well, do me a favor. If you go and visit the sponsors and you're like, hey, I heard about you at the Marly Bird podcast, like that would mean a lot to me. So it lets them know that their advertising dollars are well spent. Because right now, they don't have any way to track it if you guys aren't clicking a link going to them, right? When I get it, like you hear about it, you're not going to like go search for a link if it's just as easy as typing yarnspirations.com. But if you let them know that you heard about them from me, that helps a ton. So today's guest, I'm very excited about today's guest. This is a new topic for me, actually. I have never done yoga. I have never had anybody regarding yoga on the podcast before. I've had somebody on before talking about exercises for knitters and such. Carson Demers was on the podcast talking about his book and all of the exercising and whatnot for knitters, but this is the first time I've ever talked to anybody about yoga or anything regarding that. And so it's very fitting, especially in today's world with how stressed out we are. We're all at home spending time with our family, which can be a blessing and sometimes feel like a curse, if I'm being honest. If I've got teenagers, and if you have been following along on Facebook, you know that the struggle is real sometime with the 16-year-old. Oh my gosh. So I could probably really use some good yoga right now because I'm not able to go get my massages that I usually get to release the tension out of my shoulders and whatnot. So regardless of all of that, I'm excited to talk about yoga and yoga for knotted knitters today. This works for crocheters as well. So don't, all you crocheters out there are like, this isn't for me. No, this is for you too. So let's welcome Marcie to the podcast. Hey girlfriend, how are you?
Fine. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
I am thrilled to have you here. When Caitlin told me you were coming on the show today, I was like, that is just so perfect that she's coming on right now everybody is stressed across the board. Yes. People who are working, people who are staying home, people who are helping others. I mean, we're all just so incredibly stressed. So this is very fitting that you're on the show.
Yeah, it is. And it's great because not only are people stressed, but they're working from home many and homeschooling, and everyone's bent over and shoulders are forward. Yes. And the same muscles that we use when we knit and overuse and underuse when we knit are getting used when we work at home. So yeah, it does work for knitters, crocheters, and everybody else as well.
I find myself quite often when I'm here at the desk or if I'm in front of the cameras in the studio, I'm always trying to put my shoulders back because I get my left side is my worst side. Like my massage therapist is always like, oh man, girl, what are you doing? You know? Yeah. And I will tell her, I'm like, okay, so I want it really nice and deep, but I'm like, you have to start off with a little foreplay and work my way into that before right. You really get some deep in there. Cause you can't just go all in at the start because I'm going to be bouncing off that table. Yes. But yeah, that's exactly it. Like I find myself trying to constantly pull my shoulders back and suck my core in. And I always have my feet on the floor, like right in front of me. Like I don't cross my legs or anything anymore.
Good girl. Excellent.
Yeah. Cause I learned because my legs started falling asleep on me and I'm like, that cannot be good. Right. Yeah. So let's tell people more about you. Just in general, I mean, are you a knitter? Are you a crocheter? How did you get into all of this?
Well, I'm a knitter. I've been a knitter for many, many, many years. And when I moved to Seattle, I started to learn how the world of knitting was much bigger than I realized when I grew up in Arizona. There were no knitting stores where I grew up, and I actually don't remember my knitting origin story, but I think my grandma taught me in Kansas, some summer when I was visiting with her. And so I'd pick it up and put it down periodically. And then when I came to Seattle, the yarn stores here and the knitters here, it just was this whole new world of gorgeousness and kindness and creativity. And so I in earnest started knitting again. And as I was knitting, I also eventually landed in yoga teacher training school. We'll get back to that later if you want to, and found that there were a lot of knitters in my yoga training. And so we would connect over that and connect with yarn and various and sundry other things. So fast forward to about 2.5 years ago, I teach yoga in Seattle, and the studio where I was teaching or renting, the owner sent out this call to everyone who taught there saying, hey, Vogue Knitting is coming to Seattle and they need a teacher for knitters. And my jaw kind of dropped because I love yoga, I love knitting. I had no idea the two could connect. I had no idea at all what a Vogue Knitting Live or stitches or any of those things were. My eyes were quite opened when I went to the first one to go do my little classes. And when I was there teaching in the marketplace, people came up to me and said, do you have videos? Do you have classes? Because this really feels good. And so that started the seed. And it's grown over the years. I've taught at quite a few Vogue knittings, and I give workshops at a couple of yarn stores here in Seattle. And this Friday, I'm going to start teaching online at 11 o'clock Seattle time, Pacific time, yoga for knotted knitters.
Oh my gosh,
It's
that's so
exciting.
cool. What a cool
Yeah.
story. I know a
Yeah.
lot of knitters who do yoga. I know so I used to teach at the Stitches events. I recently just stepped back, ironically, right before all of this happened to teach
Right.
my son's track team. Anyways, when I was there, Edie Ekman would often get together with a lot of different teachers. It was like, let's start our day off with some yoga and just for all of us to stretch out and whatnot. I never went, admittedly, because I really wanted to sleep because I was like, I
Yes.
was
Yes, I
exhausted.
understand.
But
Yes.
I do know a lot of knitters who are also, are they called yogis, or is that a special term for
Yogis,
something?
yoginis, no, you can, or people who do
Okay.
yoga. It
I
doesn't matter
wasn't
to
sure.
me.
Yeah, they just like
Yeah.
yoga. I mean, and then my best friend and her husband really get into yoga. They lift weights a lot.
Uh-huh.
And my son, my 16-year-old one I was talking about earlier, he actually was working out with them last summer to get buffed up for football, and he was starting to do some yoga and he really enjoyed it. So it's fascinating
Yeah.
that we're talking about all this. I do want to go back to your yoga story when you said let's talk about that. Let's like yeah, I want to know.
Yeah. Well, so I teach school, and I have a tendency, or had probably more likely, to go too far too fast and want to create all my new ideas and give too much to my students. And I had to learn through burnout that that's not the best method of teaching anything. And I took some time off, and during that time off, I just happened upon a class at this yoga studio called Whole Life Yoga here in Seattle. And this particular kind of, I'd tried yoga off and on over the years, but this particular kind of yoga really resonated with me because it's very adaptive to whomever comes. It's also connected to breathing, which I found really, really relaxing and put me in this profound sense of peace, and also self-acceptance, which as a heavier woman in the United States, that's not always the focus. And within months, I was in yoga teacher training with the woman who owned that studio at the time. And I trained and loved it. And then I went back and trained again. And so I have over 500 hours of yoga training. And last time I counted, which was probably a year and a half ago, about 1,000 hours of teaching. So
Wow.
yeah, it's become a central part of my life and profoundly affected my life.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So I love that you bring up, as a larger woman and stuff, because I'm a 2X, 3X. It
Yeah,
is what it is.
it is.
I have been a large girl my entire life, a large woman my entire life. It's just, people say, oh, you're big bone. Well, I've got big bones, but then I've got cushion around the big bones too. So
That's
like,
right.
even if I was my ideal weight, I would look like a big person. I'm just big.
That's just how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it just is what it is. But that is actually one of the hesitations for me ever doing yoga, is that I didn't want to be, it sounds ridiculous, I didn't want to be that fat girl in the yoga class that everybody's looking at, because as much as I try and put on I'm very confident. I shouldn't say I try. I am very confident with
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
I am. I have grown to be very confident, but there are times that I am not so confident when I'm putting on a swimsuit and have to go into a swimming class or go even to the beach. Like, it took a lot of self-motivating to put a swimsuit on and go to the swim park with my kids when they were younger, because I just had to tell myself, my kids don't care what I look like, and I'm going to go have fun with them. But that was literally one of the hardest things I have ever done. So the idea of going to do yoga as a big person has always held me back. So is this just, I know this is just a self-fabrication sort of thing, like big people do yoga. But is this common?
Yes. Yes. You are not alone.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. In addition to teaching knitters, I have yoga series called Befriending Your Body Through Yoga, which are directed specifically to heavier women because of that exact thing. I've had many people, not everyone, but many people who have come to those classes have said, I didn't want to try yoga because I'm not skinny, or I'm not bendy, or I didn't have anything to wear. And I'm like, wear your pajamas. It doesn't matter. Just come. You're in a safe place. You just need to move and breathe, and I'll tell you what to do. A lot of people have never tried yoga before who come to my classes, and I tell them it doesn't matter. And then they fortunately see that it doesn't matter. I'll guide them. And there are different kinds of the movements that can help different people. I can't do some of the things that a different friend of mine could do, whether because she's more flexible or smaller or whatever. And it doesn't matter. That's part of why I love this kind of yoga that I teach.
Now, here's another question, because I was talking to my mom about yoga a while ago, and my mom has had 2 knee replacements. And so like, it's very difficult for her to get up and down. Like, she has full range of motion, but it's still like getting down on her knees and such is not really something it doesn't feel good. And I know there are other people who have bad knees, or maybe they have an injured back or something. Is there yoga that is it adaptable for injuries and such?
It is. You have to make sure you are seeing a yoga teacher or a yoga therapist who knows how to adapt and who works in a type of yoga that's called a lineage that does do adaptations. And then there's also the kind of yoga I teach for knitters is chair yoga. So there's yoga that either takes place entirely in the chair, or what I typically do is, start in the chair to warm you up, that foreplay you were talking about with your massage therapist.
Yep.
And then we come to standing, but the chair is always there for balance. And there's not a race to get up to standing. And people who can't stand for whatever reason could choose to stay in the chair and just do the upper body moves of the standing part. And then we come back down to the chair. So it just really depends. The most important thing when you're looking for either a teacher or somewhere to do yoga, and especially now, there's so much online yoga available for people because we can't teach in studios. And so just do a little research about who is this teacher, what kind of yoga do they teach, and what are the classes formatted like, or email the person and ask those questions. And then you would know if you would feel comfortable, or your mom would know if she would feel comfortable, or anybody else. So yes, it can be adaptable.
Like, I'm not even joking. My mom is like in the chat room. Like, my mom never listens to my podcast ever. Like, she usually calls me during the show. She's like, oh, it's podcast. I'm sorry. But she's in the chat rooms. That's funny. She's like, chair yoga, that's for me. And she's not the only one. Chris Lopez is saying, oh, I didn't, think about chair yoga. I didn't know about chair yoga. It reminds me of, I used to tell my grandma, there was an older lady that was like on PBS, and she always did like older sort of just movement exercises. She was always in a chair doing stuff like that. Is that what it would be like?
Maybe we'll find out.
I don't know. That's cool.
We can
I know.
do a little practice
This is great. Like. So when there are people who might be like, oh, yoga for knitters, why do knitters need to do yoga? obviously you talked a little bit about, the shoulders, and we're all kind of hunched doing this all the time, but what are some other things that people need to think about that maybe they don't think about? They could be like, oh, that's why that is hurting so bad.
Yeah. Well, I think there's the first round of things that people think about when, knitters or crafters or crocheters think about their bodies are, oh my God, my hands hurt, or my shoulders, or my neck, or maybe the upper back because we sit so much. And all of those are true. And we can do things to bring circulation and flexibility into those parts of the body. But then there are also things that we don't typically think about, like you said you sit with your feet flat on the floor, but a lot of people don't. And so circulation can get compromised there if you sit with your legs under you or under your chair or crossed. Because we're sitting, most of us knit or crochet sitting, not everybody. I have not learned how to walk and knit, but
I could do that.
Know how. That's awesome. If I ever do a knitting retreat, I want to do like a soft yarn, big needle walking meditation.
Yes.
Doesn't that sound super fun?
It's fantastic. I get myself an airline bag, put my sock yarn in there, and I can knit in socks and walk, and I'm no problem.
Yeah. See, I'm not there yet, but maybe one day. But all right. Most of us sit. And so our spine is compressed, which, is not good for the spine. It leads to bad things for our discs and our low back and our pelvis and our hips. Our legs don't get any circulation, or as they get some, but not as much as they want to because they're all folded. And so we need to stretch and move and bring circulation into those parts of the body and bring circulation to our brain. You mentioned Carson Demers, and I was in one of his classes in San Francisco, and he talked about, I think he said something like our thinking, I can't remember exactly his words, but goes down like by 60% if our circulation is not functioning very well. And that really struck me because, it's after I've been sitting in my chair for maybe an episode or maybe two of something and knitting, and I start really making the mistakes.
Yep.
And it's time to get up and move and get your blood going back to your brain so you can think clearly, or maybe go to bed if it's 11 o'clock at night.
Right. Yeah. I know that
so many things.
Yeah, absolutely. In my knitting classes, I have some of my teacher friends, like they were 3-hour classes. They would stop an hour and a half in for a break. And I would stop it every hour because I'm like, we need to get up and move. And so I always made the joke of, get up and move, go to the bathroom, even if you don't have to, I'm like, just go and just move around, and I'm always take like 5 to 10 minutes just because sometimes you just need to step away from what you're doing, even though you're like so into it, but you need to stretch, you need to give yourself time to, I call it like recalibrating is what it kind of feels like,
Absolutely.
So yeah, totally. I can feel that. Like, I know I'm excited the yoga stuff because I think this might be totally for me. I could do this. Yay. I could do this. All right. So
awesome.
Walk us through this stuff.
What would you like me to walk you through? Some yoga or
if somebody, no. I mean, like if somebody is, so they're like, okay, so this is cool. I want to get started. What is the next step? What do they do?
Okay. Well, there's a couple of avenues they can go through. First, if you want to do yoga in your community or online, you need to maybe do a little Google search and look for, if you think chair yoga is for you, just Google chair yoga or chair yoga Seattle if you live in Seattle.
Okay.
And see who is offering the classes and click on their links, because chances are they'll have a website, and read about this person, or maybe even reach out and say, look, I have a rotator cuff injury. Would this kind of yoga be good for me, or whatever? And then with me, right now, all my classes are online. And so, and like I think I said, but I'm not sure if I said when we were live, Friday, I start online yoga for knotted knitter classes, which are going to be an hour long from 11 to 12. And you could go to my Yoga for Knotted Knitters website, www.yogaforknottedknitters.com, and find out more information about that. I also have videos. So if you aren't available at certain times, but you're interested in knitter yoga, I have videos on my website. I have a triple play, which is 3 videos together for neck, shoulders, and back, because those are the most common areas in workshops I get requests for. So that's there. And there's also a membership, which includes all the Friday classes and all the videos that I've ever made in a nice little video library. And then also I have a YouTube channel, Yoga for Knotted Knitters, which has what I call yoga swatches, which are just little short practices that you could do with, something for the neck or something for the wrists or something for the eyes. So
That's
there's a lot
perfect.
of different ways through me and through others that you can find whatever yoga works best for you.
That's perfect. And the chair
Yeah.
yoga, is that part of the series that you have online?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The online stuff, the YouTube is either in the chair or on the floor. And some of those you can do in your bed.
Yeah.
And the streaming site it says you can choose chair and standing, you could choose floor, you can choose floor and standing. So there's a variety of different possibilities.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. And those of you out there, I do want to remind you, I do have a link to the show notes in the video description box. So anything that we've talked about today, including links to stuff, if you didn't catch it right away, you can always go to the show notes and get all the links you need to all this really great information. This is fun. I can see in the chat room, people are very excited about this. They're talking about, they didn't know that yoga was even a possibility for them because of the chair yoga, that they're thinking maybe this is a possibility. They want to check out your YouTube channel for sure. My mom says bed yoga. Woohoo! I thought she's gonna be like, that sounds like a dirty trick.
It does.
I can see my husband. You want to do some bed yoga? No.
No.
Right? Yeah. But a lot of people are very excited about this, and a lot of people are commenting, oh, I do that just one more row, and I'm totally guilty of that.
Totally
guilty of that. Hook Crochet says, I prefer standing yoga because I have hair issues and I don't want my head on the mat. That's interesting. I never would have thought about that. Let's see. Angela says, chair yoga sounds amazing. I have a spinal injury and would love to be able to do yoga, but have always worried that it's not adaptable. So glad to hear that there's more to it than I thought. I think that's what a lot of people are going to find, is that
there's so much to it.
There really is. The purple Poncho Carolyn is here. I love her. She has a YouTube channel and she's a really great crochet designer. She also does some Tunisian and a little knitting. It says, I love to do Zen Yoga. It's more stretching and relaxing moves. I didn't know there were so many different types of yoga.
Yeah. It all sort of goes back to one. There's like an umbrella, the moves are basically the same, but different types of yoga approach them differently. And there's so much more than just the moves. There's breathing and there's meditation, and there are things that, most typical yoga studios barely approach just because it's more esoteric. But there's a wealth of possibility.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Well, I know that we have a gift to give away to people who are here listening live to the show, and one to people who leave a comment in those show notes I mentioned before. So if you are listening live to the podcast right now, it is 12:30 Eastern time. You're in the chat room. I gotta pull up what your keyword is. If you're in the chat room, I need you to type take a breath and unwind. That is your key phrase for a chance to win a prize. And the prize is, do you want to tell them what the prize is for the live?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, I'm starting these classes on Fridays. And so the person who gets chosen shortly can attend the first 2 classes for free online.
Awesome. So that's
it's
cool.
Chair yoga. Yeah. It should be really fun.
So all of you who are typing that out, once again, I'll remind you, it says, I got to scroll back over, take a breath and unwind. So type that out. And while you're doing that, I'm going to give you a chance to do that. Those of you who are not listening live, don't worry. There's always a chance for you to win as well. Guests here on the podcast are always generous. They give a prize to a live listener and to somebody who leaves a comment to the show notes. Now, I do want to mention about the show notes because once again, people are forgetting that they can leave a comment on the actual show notes, not just here on, why can't I get there we go. Not just here on the podcast on YouTube. So I did a share screen, and over here, this is a view of the show notes right there. That's the URL for the show notes you would go to for this podcast, marlybird.com/yoga-for-knitters. And right here, this is what you would see here. There's obviously a little bit of information about yoga for knotted knitters. You keep scrolling down here and you'll see links. These are all, everything that you see in blue, those are hyperlinked. You can check out all the information for Yoga for Knotted Knitters. I'll be adding a link right here to this actual show once it is done and live. And then here's information about the giveaway. This is what you are most intrigued about. As I scroll down here, I'm scrolling to the very bottom of the page. You guys see that? Look, I'm at the very bottom of the page. It says enter your comment here. This is where you are going to enter a comment, and you are going to include that key phrase, take a breath and unwind. Once you enter your comment there of the take a breath and unwind, that enters you for a chance to win a prize. You will possibly win. Let me come here and do the stop share screen. Let's see, one triple play set of videos from Marcie's Yoga for Knotted Knitters website. So do you want to tell them more about what that is?
Yeah, so I call it triple play because it's 3 videos and they focus on those 3 areas I mentioned, neck, shoulders, and back, which are common problems for us knitters and others. And the videos are slightly different. One of them is a floor video that you can actually do in the bed, Marley's mom. And, and another one is chair only, and another one is chair and standing. So 3 different types of videos, 3 different areas of your body, and 3 videos. So I call it triple play.
I love that. I think that's a great prize. And once again, you must leave your comment with that phrase, take a breath and unwind, in the show notes over on the Marly Bird website. Okay, guys, we love your comments here on YouTube. Absolutely love your comments. YouTube loves them too. But for a chance to win, you have to leave your comment on those show notes. We like to keep everything in one place. It makes it easier for Caitlin to go in there and randomly select a winner. So if we keep everything in one place, it just makes it a lot easier. And we've been doing this for 13 years. So why change it at this point? You know, it's like there's a rhythm here. We've got this going. Okay, so a lot of people are typing out take a breath and unwind. It's kind of lovely. So I am going to scroll up to where it started, and then I'm going to scroll down, and you tell me when to stop, and that person will be the lucky winner.
Stop.
All right, I stopped. My hand is on, my cursor is on Sherry Radomski. Sherry Radomski. So congratulations, Sherry. And what do you need from her for her to be able to join in?
I just need her email address, and I'll send her a Zoom link.
All right. I'm going to tell her congrats and have her email me so that way we can get it directed to you.
Awesome.
Please email me, and it's winner@yarnthingpodcast.com, Sherry. So that way, you know, winner@yarnthingpodcast.com. Please make sure in the subject line, Sherry, you let me know what it was you won, because we do a lot of different giveaways, and we want to make sure we get you the correct one. So congratulations. That's really awesome. I'm jealous. She gets to go and be part of that on Zoom. Gotta love Zoom. This has been quite the savior right now with a lot of different people. It's been pretty good stuff. I have really enjoyed this podcast today. I've learned so much. I've learned that as a big girl, I can still do yoga. I know that sounds crazy to some people. They're probably like, Marly, you should have known that already. But you know, it's a thing, guys. You know, it's a thing.
Yeah. Do you want to try a little yoga?
Sure.
I don't know if you can with your poncho, your beautiful.
I can take
poncho,
it off. I got a shirt on underneath. I can take it off. Let me take it off.
You can. And I'll scoot my chair back just so people can see me.
Now, my chair has wheels. Is that going to be a problem?
No, let's just do a little chair practice. So if your feet are on the floor, you should be fine.
Yeah, they are.
So I can't see you with my glasses on.
Okay.
Can you see enough of me?
I can.
In the screen? Okay, good.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. Yeah, I know. All right. So I'll ask anyone who's practicing to sit on your chair with your, like Marly, with your feet below your knees. So not tucked under your chair. Your hands could be on your lap, or they could hang down at your sides. So whatever is comfortable for you. And maybe just close your eyes for a second and feel your body. We often are so busy, especially now with anxiety at such a height and all the things we need to do in our house now. We don't get to leave as much as we would like. So just take a moment, even though you're in your house with your to-do list, you can carve out a little time and feel your body on your chair. And notice what you feel in your shoulders.
My shoulder is sore.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
So just let your shoulders relax if you can. And if you can't, it's okay. We'll get some movement into them and it may help. And think about your spine. The kind of yoga I teach is focused on the health of the spine. And you want your spine to be nice and long. Hopefully not curving back towards the chair behind you. And you don't want it curving too far forward. Just a nice long spine with relaxed shoulders. And then I'll ask you for a moment to pay attention to your breath and just your inhales and your exhales, which is something we also don't do much and is something this kind of yoga encourages, and it helps reduce anxiety. In this kind of yoga, we will match our movement and our breath, and I'll coach you in that, and it may feel foreign, and don't worry, as long as you breathe, you'll be fine. So just become very aware of your inhales and your exhales, and they might get a little longer as you pay attention to them, and that's okay. We'll start with some very small movements, and I'll coach you with every movement and the breathing. So on your next inhale, whenever it comes, you're going to just turn your head towards the right as if you're looking over your shoulder. And then when you inhale, you'll turn your head center. And then your next exhale, you'll turn over to the left.
I can hear crickling in my neck.
And inhale center, that's normal. So we're going to do this a few times to let your neck know what's going on. The exhale, turn it over to the other side. And the inhale, bring it forward. I can too, if that makes you feel any better.
I know, I like it. I'm really that uptight.
Every exhale is to the side. We're going to do it one more time each side. We do several times to warm up the muscles. The first time we turn, we will probably be less of a turn, and the third time we turn will be a little bit more, just because your muscles get warmer and stretchier. And then the next time you inhale, I know, come center. Now stay here. And now what we'll do is tilt a chin, an ear over to your shoulder. So the inhales are always center like before. And then when you exhale, you'll just tip your chin over towards your right.
Oh.
Inhale center.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's amazing. And exhale the other side. It's simple movements. I mean, we will get bigger. We start small. Inhale center. And exhale to the side.
Oh, that feels so good.
I know. Computing, knitting, all of it. We'll do one more time with the tilts. And just notice what you feel on the opposite side of the neck as you tilt it over. Good. And then your head will come center. And just exhale.
Yeah.
Let your hands hang down. We'll be sweeping an arm. So you'll start with your right arm. And sweeping means reaching out to the side. Actually, let me show you. Depending on your shoulders, you may come up to here, just to shoulder height, or you may come all the way up towards the ceiling, depending. So you guys modify as you need to. Okay. So we'll start with your right shoulder. Okay. Inhale up either, or your right arm, either to shoulder height, or if it feels okay, come all the way up.
I can go right there. How crazy is that?
Exhale,
my range of motion.
Down. And it may be different. Switch to your other arm and see if it's the same. Inhale, coming up.
This one's worse. This one's there.
Okay. So this is where why don't you do both your arms to shoulder height?
Okay.
Instead of going up to where you can, because shoulder height, and I'll do that too, is where you know you can go.
Yeah.
On both sides.
Yeah.
And you don't want to build asymmetry. You don't want to go to one height in one arm and one height in the other.
Yeah.
And you may feel this in your forearms. I even feel this in my palms.
Like my fingers even tingle. Look at me, you guys. Big girl doing yoga live on YouTube. Way to go, Marcie.
All right, now we're going to match these two things together. So you'll inhale, sweep your arm out and either to shoulder height or all the way up. When you exhale, look over your opposite shoulder and down to the floor. So you're looking away from that arm as it presses down. Oh my
gosh.
I know. Inhale, look forward. Bring your arm down. Other arm will come up to wherever it goes. Exhale, other side, look over the opposite shoulder and tilt, looking down to the floor. And let's just
Oh
do
my
it a few more
gosh.
times.
I feel this like all the way down to my elbow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's try a few more times and see how it feels as you repeat it. So with your inhale, come up, matching your breath to your movement to wherever you go. Exhale, pressing the hand down all the way down to the side as you look away and look to the floor.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Inhale, look towards me, other arm out and up. Exhale, look away, other arm comes down.
Yeah, this is the side that's like so incredibly tight on me. And like each movement, I feel something is like tingling the whole way, like in a good way, not a bad way.
Let's just go up to shoulders for one more time.
Okay.
So inhale, up, your right arm up. Sorry, my earbud's falling out. Just stop at your shoulder height. Exhale, let it come down, look over the other way and down to the floor. And last one, inhale up to shoulder height with your left arm. Good. And exhale, look away from it and down as it comes down.
Oh
and then
my
just
gosh.
inhale your head center. You don't have to move at all.
Wow.
Yeah. And then if you want to shake or whatever you can.
Wow.
I know, it's circulation. And that's just like the littlest part of your body, your neck, your shoulders, your arms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to try some more or do you want to? I can't see the clock.
I do.
Okay.
No, you're good. People are just now, they're saying I'm losing my headphones. My mom is saying she is loving this. Her shoulders already feel better. This is amazing.
Awesome.
Sarah is saying, oh, wow, I can feel it in the palms and even in my back.
Yes.
So people, yes, they want to continue. Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Everything's attached, right? Everything is connected. So, and you might need your earphones. I was going to say you could take your earphones out, but other people might need the earphones. So,
yeah.
Okay. Let your hands come down to your sides.
Okay.
And we're going to do some more arm sweeping, but we're also going to circle our wrists. And you'll circle your wrists towards your screen. So it'll look like this. You'll inhale, both arms. Either you go to shoulder height, Marley.
Okay.
Other people, you might go higher, you might not. And then when you exhale, reverse the circles away from the screen and come down.
Wow.
So just slightly different movements. The inhale is the circling towards the screen and coming up.
I can feel it like in the palm of my hand, like where my thumb is, you know, where I hold my
so
hook.
Can I. Me too, on my right hand especially.
Yeah, my right hand.
Yeah.
While I have you here, somebody is asking, can they buy gift certificates for friends?
Sure.
Okay.
Email me and let me know.
All right. All right.
We can work that out.
All right. Yes. So JC, email her and she will work something out with you.
You can email me at marcie@yogaforknottedknitters.com or just go to that website, which is in the show, will be in the show notes, and it'll be there, the Yoga for Knotted Knitters site, and you can do contact. Yeah.
This feels really good.
So go ahead and let your hands hang down and relax. Shake if you want to. And then we're going to do a little bit for your chest and your arms. So your hands hang down at your sides. Thumbs are pointing towards your chair, just, relaxed, in a relaxed way. And what I want you to think about is spiraling your whole arm. So all the way up to your, bones up here. So as you inhale, let the thumbs both come towards me and then out towards the outsides and then maybe back. And you'll see maybe my chest is coming forward and my shoulder blades squeeze together. And then when I exhale, the thumbs go to the outsides towards the screen and to the chair.
Like that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that feels
and then
so good.
Exhale is the reverse. Yep. So let's try it again. Inhale is the spiral out. Shoulder blades gently together. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And exhale is the reverse. So we'll try that maybe 2 more times.
I know y'all are doing this with me. Come on now.
Nice. 1 more time.
Oh, it feels so good.
Okay. And then shake if you want to. Let me show you a little thing you can do for your hands. And you can choose to either have your hands up like a robber is pointing a gun at you, and you're going to be doing this kind of thing. Or if that doesn't work for your shoulders and your back and they get too tired, your hands can come sit on your lap and you can do the exact same thing.
Okay.
So I'm going to put my hands up just so you can see me. I'm going to give one cautionary note because we'll be opening and closing our hands, and you don't want to open it so the hand is super wide open and flat. Have a little curve. You don't want to overstretch these muscles because then they'll be really cranky.
Yeah.
So a gentle curve. So this is going to go with your breath as well. So sit nice and tall on your chair, relax your shoulders down. Inhale just like this. And then when you exhale, bring your thumb to your index finger. And then inhale, open up, slow motion movements. And then exhale will be thumb to middle finger. So we're just getting stretch in our various fingers and our thumb and our palms. Every breath is a new one, exactly.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I know, it's good. And your fingers and your hands are going to be like, thank you. And then after the pinky, what you'll do to stretch the thumb, you'll open up again, and then you'll bring the thumb to the base of the pinky down at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And then let's just reverse. So open up and then base of pinky on the exhale. Very nice. Inhale will be opening and then pinky. And then we'll just, with your breath, come through the remaining fingers.
So this is the most relaxed I've been in 2 weeks.
Amen, sister. That's another thing. Yes. And then index.
Like for real. Like I'm not even like joking. You. This is the most relaxed I've been. I could cry. I'm so relaxed right now.
This is how I felt when I discovered Vini yoga, this kind of yoga I teach. I wanted to cry because I was so moved to feel so peaceful in my body. And that was not during this particular time. So
I was not expecting that.
Well, also you've probably relaxed, and so your body can release. You know,
oh my gosh.
I mean, there is so much pent up in us. When I'm watching TV right now, at the oddest times, I'll start crying, or I'll see something on Facebook, you know, and I'm like, ooh, because it just needs to come out.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, Marcie, I love you. This is fantastic.
I'm so
this is so good. I want to know what everybody else is saying. This is fantastic. Marilyn wants to know, is this possibly something that could help her trigger finger? I don't know what a trigger finger is.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what a trigger finger is. So I'm going to say, ask your, if you have a PT or an OT that you talk to about your trigger finger, ask or show one of my videos.
Yeah.
Say, I found this on YouTube. Is it okay?
Yeah. Sarah Dawn is saying her shoulders feel so much better already. Christina Ross says her kids are bugging her to start school, but she doesn't want to leave. She wants to keep stretching. Let's see here. Beth Gleason says this is wonderful. Chris Lopez says, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to hear I'm not the only one crying at random times. I think that's everybody kind of right now. Jean Jones says she keeps forgetting to breathe. That's actually something that I forget to do when I'm knitting or crocheting. I find myself holding my breath a lot, or I'm concentrating so much that I will have slobber come out my mouth, and I'm just like, you know, like it's bad. But yeah, it's all that. Tuba is saying that she's crying because she feels so relaxed right now. See, I'm not the only one. My mom says she feels so much better. This is fantastic. I didn't expect to cry at all. Like that was the furthest thing from what I expected to feel, but everybody's commenting how wonderful they feel just even right now. I mean, so what you just walked us through, is that what they can expect more of in the classes that you do, and even more in depth? Yeah, that is fantastic.
Those are very similar. I mean, those are some of the exercises I do, and there are many others. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes,
that's exactly what you can expect. And the forgetting to breathe or the not knowing when to breathe, that's especially when I'm saying inhale here, exhale here. If you do it enough, it starts to come naturally. But at first your brain is so busy trying to figure out, like, what do I do here? Do I move here? What do I do with my hands? So just let it happen and trust that with repetition, you'll start to remember, oh, I breathe in here, or your brain can relax into the movement and you can focus on the breath. But the breath is what's going to help you relax. And I think the breath right now is what we need as a cult. Well, no, as a world,
Mhm.
because it's what's going to help your nervous system. And it just
Absolutely.
happens to be part of the kind of yoga I teach. And I'm so grateful.
Oh my God, I want to give you like the biggest hug right now, but social distancing hug.
That's what I was thinking.
I just, oh my God, like it's just fantastic. It's just fantastic. I
Great.
love it. Okay. So everybody, now that they've walked through all this with you, they're like, okay, I got to sign up for this. This is so fabulous.
Right on.
So they can go to a link in the show notes and sign up.
Yep.
They could do the live, it's a live class on Friday.
Yep, it
Okay.
is. Yes, I will
That
be
is
here.
so awesome. Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
love this. This is so,
You should come too, if you can.
you know what? I seriously, I really think I would like to. Like this would be really nice. And it's you said 11 o'clock Pacific, so that would be
Yep.
3 o'clock here. So that's totally doable for me. That's just
Yeah.
I'm I'm out of words. My mom says that she's crying too now. And
Aw,
it's been stressful, Mom. And
it
I
has
think we're
been.
allowed to cry a little bit. So this is
That's
just so
right. Release is good. It's
yeah, it
important.
absolutely. There's a woman here, Hook Crochet. She says she's a big girl too, and her body is on her yoga studio's Facebook page. Grr is what she says. But you know what? You'd be surprised, Hook Crochet. You could actually be somebody giving encouragement to somebody who's like me, who just
Absolutely.
doesn't know that that's even a possibility.
People need to see it.
Yeah,
There's so much yoga out there for women who are bigger, not just women, but I focus on women, so I say
I
that.
get you.
But it's out there and it's possible,
I love
and
it.
it helps. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I am so grateful you came on the podcast today. If you have any time you want to come on again and talk about
I'd love
anything, you're
to.
more than welcome to.
Oh, thank you, Marly. Thank
This
you.
is so delightful. All right, everybody. Don't forget to check out the free classes on this Friday or all of her other classes that she provides. The link is in the video description box to the show notes. I hope that you will take a time and enter for a chance to win her, what's it called? The triple play.
Yeah.
And come and have fun with us doing some yoga. I hope you enjoyed today's video podcast. I know I did. I feel much better. I want to go cry, but I don't want my makeup to all run off. All that work down the drain.
Oh no.
But anyways, thank you so much, Marcie, for coming on the podcast, and everybody else. I will talk to you next Tuesday. All right, y'all. See you later. Let me see if
Thanks,
I can
Marly.
figure out how to end this. I have such a hard time figuring out how to end this stuff. All right, so here we go. We got it. All right,
Okay,
bye. Y'all.